Hey everyone, I finished watching the next Ninja Storm episode, Boxing Bopp-a-Roo. That is one of the dumbest titles they've had so far, although it's the monster of the episode's name, so it's also the dumbest monster name so far. I'm sure there's probably another dumb one in there somewhere, but Bopp-a-Roo is definitely pretty high up there and being pretty dumb. I hear Aru, and it just makes me think Sassette from Smurfs, who would say Smurfaroo a lot. Anyway, episode summary. Shane and Hunter are training with Sensei Watanabe, and the two rangers are competitive, and that competitiveness turns into argumentativeness. Is that a word? I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Mara and Capri are up on the spaceship, boxing this what do they call those things? The hanging bag thing, punching bag. I think there's a better word for it though, but whatever. Anyway, they're being taught a boxing class by the monster Bopp-a-Roo, who's a robot kangaroo. Why not? I don't know. I'm assuming that maybe there was some more relevance to this character in Hurricaneger, or maybe not. Maybe it was weird there too. So, anyway, there's some banter with Mara, Capri, and Lothor, and then Mara gives Lothor the idea to send Bopp-a-Roo down to fight the Rangers. I don't know why Lothor didn't think of that himself. Then again, this is like the first time we've had like an outside monster just there. So I don't know, maybe this guy comes here regularly to teach them boxing? The other time, like, we had an outsider monster, Zergain comes in with the monster, and he's like, "Sir, I got this new monster." It's kind of like in Turbo, where Porto would be like, "And my queen, I found this monster." Like, they just find them somewhere. I'd really love to see an episode where, like, there's a bunch of monsters hanging out somewhere, and they get, like a flyer or something, and it's like, monsters wanted to fight Power Rangers, and a bunch of monsters are like, yeah, sure, I'm not doing anything." So anyway, back to the episode. Let's see, Shane and Hunter run into Bopp-a-Roo, and they begin to fight him, but then they keep getting distracted, arguing with each other. And then Bopp-a-Roo goes back up to Lothor's ship because, Zergain gives him a power-up, and then, yeah, he just kind of stays up there for a while, bantering with Lothor, Mara, and Capri, and Bopp-a-Roo talks in a lot of made-up slang, and Lothor gets fed up with it, especially when Mara and Capri begin to imitate it. So then he picks up this jar with a big dollar sign on it and goes, "Anyone who uses a made-up word has to put a dollar in the made-up word jar." I love that. I don't know why, but it works really well with Lothor, and it's such a bizarre, absurdist bit of humor there. Let's see. So anyway, down on Earth, Shane and Hunter are going for a jog, and they start to talk to each other, talk it out about earlier their competitiveness, why they're arguing so much, and why they can't agree on things. And Hunter talks about how it used to be like he's not used to working with a team. He's only ever worked with his brother, so now being part of a team, he's not used to having to like take orders or listen to other people other than his brother. And so then Shane reassures him that he's part of the team now and we all look out for each other. And it's a nice little moment. I really like it. It's and also I really like that it's in character for both of them. Their competitiveness and their arguing, like their disagreements, everything, like it fits their character. It doesn't feel wrong for them like in some current seasons when characters will act like that, it kind of feels weird. Especially like this really works because this is one of the first times Shane and Hunter like really interact. Before this, Hunter's been brainwashed, Hunter's been like under mind control or evil, or they don't know each other that well. Here, like they both know each other now. They're both on the same team, and this is like the first time they're really working together at something. So it fits really well. Something that later on, like, we get something like this way at the end of the season. Like, you've had 40 episodes together, and why are you still having these problems? What? So back to the thing. Let's see. Looking through my notes here. Okay, so then they spot Bopp-a-Roo, they call for the other Rangers show up, and then Mara, Capri, and Zergain come down, and they join the fight with Bopp-a-Roo against the Rangers. And that's kind of cool to actually see a whole bunch of the monsters from Lothor's ship actually take part in the battle. Or, well, Zergain, Mara, and Capri. So then, let's see. Capri reveals she has this weird ability to create a big force field around herself and the other monsters. But then the Rangers are able to break through it by combining all their weapons into one big power blaster thing that I don't know the name of. I'm sure they said the name, but I didn't write it down. So then, let's see. Capri sends down the scroll of empowerment and makes Bopp-a-Roo grow. The Rangers combine their Megazords. Oh, and this is the thing. Or yeah, they did that last episode. They use the mini Zord pops out. They combine the Zord. Oh, and the mini Zord introduces himself again. Don't know why that was necessary. Is that just an automated response he does when he comes out? So anyway, they defeat Bopp-a-Roo, and then up on Lothor's ship, Mar and Capri reveal their let's see, their new hobby, clog dancing. Sure. Anyway, Lothor's annoyed by it, but Zergain thinks it's fun, and the Kelzaks apparently all think it's fun because they're all doing it too. And then down on Earth, Shane and Hunter show that they still have a competitive side, even though they've learned to work together. This is just a friendly rivalry now. It's not animosity now. So it's a decent episode. It's a really fun episode, especially after like the last bunch of them. Like I'm so happy they're just part of the team now. We've gotten past the early episodes, which are a bit of a slog to me because like they're not that bad, but it's also like I know how much better the show gets after all the character introductions and the early stuff and like the debut of everything. Eh. It's kind of like I was thinking about like it's like a Pokemon game. How like you play through Pokemon the first time, that was really fun. Everything's like fresh and new to you. But then you play the second game, and it's like, oh, I've kind of done all this before. It's not really as much fun. It's kind of dull going through all the same stuff again. Watching the guy catch the Pokemon, like, yeah, I get it. I've already done this. And then you play like one of the newer games, and it's still the same thing. It's like, yeah, I get it. Just can I get to the fun part? That's kind of what this feels like to me. Like it's always good, and like there's definitely good parts in those earlier episodes, and there's definitely some episodes that stand out, but for the most part, I just want to get to these episodes because these are the good ones. This is where it gets really fun. So then, let's see. Mar and Capri bring a lot of uniquely specific humor to this one. Power Rangers is no stranger to bizarre, absurdist humor or overly goofy comedy. Ninja Storm, though, has a completely different sensibility to how they approach humor than in the past seasons. In the past seasons, humor was usually slapstick or character based. We had like humor that played from like characters' personalities and emotions, or we'd have like pie in the face gags. Kind of yeah, far different styles of comedy from each other, but yeah, that's what we had before. And in the Disney seasons, we have like some stuff that's slapstick and character based, but it's also like absolutely absurd. Like just sheer absurdity, the clog dancing thing at the end. It's just it comes out of nowhere. It's not really based on character. There was no setup. It was just this weird thing that Mara and Capri are doing, and it's kind of funny because it's just kind of an inherently funny thing to do regardless. Uh, oh yeah, and then Lothor is a great comedic character, and it works because like how he presents himself earlier on and throughout the series, even when he's being goofy, the goofiness comes more from his annoyance at what's going on around him, or um, like just sarcasm. Why'd I say sarcasm that way? Whatever. Uh, Lothar is a great villain because of like what he the humor is like contrary to his usual personality. You get the feeling that if he had like a team of villains who was more like Zergain, who were serious and like competent, he wouldn't be goofy. He'd probably be like a serious, scary villain, and the only humor we'd get is probably some creative insults when uh his henchmen eventually lose to the Rangers. Let's see. I love the made up word jar. That's just such a funny thing. Also, it's confusing. Marin, Capri, and Bopp-a-Roo apparently have money, and it's in dollars. Like what happened to that money that they had back in Space and Lost Galaxy? Zanabatars or something. Whatever. Moving on. Looking through my notes here. Not really anything else to say about this one. This was a good episode. It's a fun episode. It's got some really funny moments. It's a good standout episode for Ninja Storm. It's nothing amazing, but it's a pretty good look at like how the series is overall. Ninja Storm, if it fits pretty well. It's a good like kind of overview type of episode. Like this is kind of what you can expect from most episodes. It's a decently put together episode. Nothing special about it. It doesn't really stand out in any way, but it's fine. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.